Now that you're done with your first draft, you're ready to transfer your drawing onto your new piece of paper for your final draft. Make sure you write your name and grade on the back of your paper. And I'm just going to finish off my hair as you're doing that so that I have long hair on both sides. The nice thing about the transfer that we will do is that you will not have to deal with erasing pencil lines for your guidelines and any mistakes you made. We are going to do something called a graphite transfer. What you have to do first is flip over your paper, and you are going to look for where your drawing is, so mainly just in the middle of your paper. Hold your pencil on its side and color graphite over your face. Your head's right in the middle, so make sure you add a lot more graphite to the detail in your face. My neckline is down here. I'm not as concerned about that. The goal is just to lay graphite over the back of all of your detail. And then what you'll do is you will flip it over and place your final draft underneath. You can actually see since I rubbed the paper, you might be able to see a little bit of my drawing transfer onto the other side. And that's the goal of this graphite transfer. If you've ever drawn a drawing and you move your hand around a lot and then you lift up your hand and it's gray because the graphite got on it, you did your own type of graphite transfer. What we're going to do is tape the paper in place so it doesn't move around. I'm going to shift it down a little bit so I have an overlap of both pieces, and just put two pieces at the top. And you're ready to trace over your whole drawing, and you should trace over only the lines that you want to keep. So I'm going to start with my hair. Using a pen might help because then you can see what lines you already drew and what lines you didn't. So I'm going to work on tracing over all of this detail. You'll have to press pretty hard. And let's take a look at the transfer to see if it's working without moving the paper. If you have the two tape pieces at the top, it's a lot easier to lift it up like a hinge so you can see your design transferring. Let's take a look. You can see that even though it's a little bit hard to see your design because we don't have perfect graphite on this side, you can still see a lot of the detail, and it saves you time to erase from erasing your grid lines and different details you drew. I'm going to draw a little bit more detail as you're working, and then you can see the design that's transferred. Again, I'm pressing pretty hard. My hand's kind of getting tired because I am pressing hard. And only draw what details you need to transfer for your face. If there's some details you don't mind drawing over again, like the texture in the hair, you could just do that after you draw your design and transfer it. Let's take a look. You can see the basic lines, and I can redraw and touch up anything that I need to. And when you're done with that, you are ready to peel off your first draft and just work on your final draft looking in the mirror. Now I have a side part in my bang, so if I want this to look like me, I should change that to a side part. Once you have most of your detail transferred, you can redraw things so you can see your lines better and go over it again. But we will be doing most of our detail for the line work with a Sharpie. So you don't have to retrace everything. The eyes are really important, so you can draw those a little bit darker if you need to. Make your lips symmetrical. And when you are done with tracing your design, next you can take a fine tip Sharpie and outline all of your line work. You can color in your pupils because they will be black, but don't color in anything else. One tip with using a Sharpie is to move your whole arm instead of moving your wrist. If I only move my wrist, I can only move this far. If I keep my wrist still and I move my whole arm, I can draw a lot smoother lines. And part of that is turning my paper as well, so I can draw the most comfortably. So with this line, I'm the most comfortable drawing this way. So I'm going to start here. Move my whole arm. Turn the paper. Don't press too hard because you want to be able to see and fix up lines if you make a mistake. That's why it's so important to have a nice rough draft to go off of. Unfortunately, if you make a mistake with this, you really can't change anything. So work slowly and do your best to trace your drawing accurately. Make sure you leave the highlight in your eye. You can outline the bridge of your nose if you want, but don't outline the whole thing. And with the eyebrows, you can just draw them very, very lightly. If you have really light eyebrows, you might want to wait and just do that with the color because they'll be pretty dark. And you can add some texture in your hair. If you have short hair or long hair, you can create your line work accordingly. If you have long hair, make longer strokes like this. If you have shorter hair, make little strokes just like we did with pencil. Make your portrait look like you. Have fun.